welcome back to another episode of the V8 MR2 build, and today we're going to get to venting out this hood. Let's start cutting. Alright, first things first, just going through the radiator here is this air dam. It's used to push the air downwards. Don't want that no more. So we're going to cut along the red line that I have marked here. Also, that lower portion is a pinch weld, so we just need to make sure we stay above that. And additionally, this center section here was actually kind of necessary to support where the hood catch is, so I'm going to cut it out initially, then reinforce it later. So we're going to do the quick and dirty method and cut this whole thing out with a Sawzall. Here we go. Got the whole thing cut out all the way around. Still got to clean up some edges, but you get the idea. Now time for the main attraction, cutting a big hole in that hood. And like I do with pretty much everything, we start with a cardboard cutout. This is where I'm going to cut. The center line was marked all the way across the car, and then you fold it in half just to make sure you're symmetrical when you cut it. And then I've already gone ahead and transferred that line to the hood surface itself, and I've kind of measured out underneath of it also where it's going to come out at. So the only thing we can do now is start cutting. Well, let's see if we cut it all. Sounds like it. So now we're going to work on removing or clearancing some more of the structure, as well as rounding this downwards. So I took the hood off the car, got all my edges all cleaned up, as you can see, all the way around. I've got that flap kind of bent down just the way I want it. And on the inside, I just welded in a quick little support to hold it where I want it. Now we're going to make our steel, or actually our paper templates, and transfer that over to steel. Alright, here we have our two pieces just totally cut out and ready to start working with. Now I'd like to just jump in here and start welding this into the hood. However, we have this sharp edge and we weld a sharp edge into a sharp edge. We'll never be able to hide that weld line. So what we have to do is round. We're going to do a quarter round on this edge and match it on the hood. And to do that, we're going to be using just regular dolly. This is a body spoon. And I did make this up to help me out a little bit, and it's just a piece of quarter round welded to some flat steel. And I'm also going to use this as a dolly to roll over the edges. Alright, so here we have the left and right side formed up, and you can see the rolled over edges. So they have to roll opposite ways, as well as I rolled the forward edge so it doesn't look as sharp. So now we're going to apply this to the hood, and we're going to start welding. I'm also going to come in for a quick view of the fitment and how these two panels come together before you want to start welding them. And we'll get that tighter as we put more spots in and hammer and dolly as we go. So now we're going to get some more welding. Alright, so I got all that welding finished up, and now I'm going to have to address this sharp edge here. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to file this line around, we're going to give it a little break in it, and we're going to slowly just fold it around like we did with the rest of this thing. So if you recall, I removed an enormous amount of structure from the underside of that hood. So that's where these two pieces come from. There is a left and a right side. This is provisions to use the original prop rod if I even go that route. However, these will provide the rigidity that we need to keep that hood square. So let me show you how these will go in there. So from the underside, you can see where I cut through this main support to put this down slope in here. So this is where this bracket comes in, and we're going to just tie into the actual frame here and down at the bottom as well, which will weld in like that. So I made it easier on myself and welded all those supports in while the hood was off the car. Also, I had to add this here, just one little flange, because we're going to come back and pinch weld this over all the way around, and this is going to secure it to the actual skeleton structure. And on the lower end, we need to fully pinch weld this also. More hammer and dolly work. Alright, so there it is, all hammered out, and now we need to put some etching primer on there and we're going to fit it back to the car. Alright, let's see how it fits. And here it is after I close the hood. You can see just some decent lines. Couldn't hurt to come back and make some final adjustments later. Here's a look through. You can see how much airflow we're going to have now, and both of my openings relatively match each other. Alright, so I think that came out pretty good. So the hood is officially vented. I do have to finish the bodywork portion of it as well. So in the future, we're going to work on making all the proper ductwork to run through the radiator, as well as making maybe some additional changes to the hood for some actual projector headlights. So until then, see you soon.